Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Cheap Heat TV Live. I'm your host, the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, and of course, I have with me the co-host. Yes, he has a mustache, folks. It's Charles Anders. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm doing well.
They
Just
really have to take
chilling.
my word and the screen's word that you have a mustache because it's really not coming through. It's coming through. Yeah, get up in there, get a tight shot there.
Thank you, Smokey. Thanks for getting
Nice.
that tight smoke shot on that
Yes, Smokey with the
one.
zoom there. So, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right to it. So right now, I want to bring in our guest for this evening. Southern Honor Wrestling owns Gary Lamb. Gary, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. I know you are getting geared up for the big show next Friday night. Going to crown a new Southern Honor heavyweight champion.
We are. We're excited about it. I think Dylan's put a great show together. On paper, I it could be our best show ever, and that's saying a lot.
That's awesome, man. Always exciting when you have a tournament. It adds a whole nother degree of fun there. So because you get all these different matchups that you know going in, but then you don't know what other matchups you're going to see as the tournament progresses. But tell us a little bit as we get started here. How did Southern Honor Wrestling come about? What motivated you to bring Southern Honor Wrestling to Georgia?
Southern Honor got started as I grew up a wrestling fan, was really into wrestling, consumed with wrestling. Hadn't really watched it in about 20 years. My then 7-year-old son got into wrestling. I took him to a local independent show. The local independent show was so horrible. In my mind, I had nothing to compare it to. I'd never been to an independent show before, but it was unbearable. And I went a few more times. Turns out they met me, asked if they could use our building. We said yeah. Then I was even more embarrassed that this show was taking place in our building. And
Right.
I said, we're just going to start a show. How hard can it be? I'm real good friends with Rich Ward. Rich is in the band Fozzy, and he said, hey, you got to meet this guy named Dylan. He just moved here. He's working with Dallas, and he wants to start a wrestling promotion too. And so I met Dylan. We walked through the building. I told him what I brought to the table. Dylan told me what he brought to the table. And we just thought there was a great void in Georgia wrestling for something that was very high technology wise, very high entertainment value. We were blessed because I had our own building. We had all the equipment, and along with Dylan's video editing skills and booking skills and my promotional talent, it was just a perfect mix to do something big. And we got lucky, man. We rode that wave right before wrestling kind of had its renaissance. We launched right before AEW launched, and wrestling just had good buzz, and we had good buzz. And just through some of our connections and Dylan's connections, one thing led to another, and it's been a fun 2 years.
So having been away from the business and not necessarily a fan for a 20-year stretch there, beyond the local wrestling that obviously wasn't impressive, what did you think about wrestling in current times or at current time at that time compared to what you remembered it to be previously?
I mean, I grew up in the Attitude Era, so wasn't as much a fan. Now, still am not as much of a fan now. It's weird. I own a wrestling promotion, but I don't know that I'm a wrestling fan, if that makes sense. I'm a Southern Honor fan, and I don't watch wrestling. I have some really good friends associated with AEW, and I have never watched one match ever. I watch some of the clips, especially when it's Southern Honor guys on there. I have a kind of a weird relationship with Chris Jericho, so if they post something with Chris, I watch it. Watch the WWE stuff when one of my 9-year. He's now 9 when he's watching it. I'm not as a fan. A little too family friendly for me. I still like to believe there's good guys and bad guys, and I like to believe I can walk into a bar and see these guys and they can really win a fight. So that's kind of my issue with modern wrestling, and even some of my conundrum when it comes to Southern Honor is I'm a big believable guy, and that's not where wrestling's at today. So wrestling's for everybody, in case you didn't know, and I don't do real good to believe that.
Right. So you bring up an interesting point, and as a businessman, do you find that it's probably beneficial, honestly, as a promoter, to not be a huge fan, or as the boys say, a mark for wrestling. Does that kind of make it easier for you to do business objectively because you're not coming at it as a fan, you're coming as a businessman, as somebody who is looking to do what's best for the show, not like, oh, hey, let me book this guy that I'm a big fan of,
Yeah, now in that case,
cool.
100%. I run Southern Honor like I run all my businesses. It's about turning a profit. It's not about not turning a profit. It's not about doing it because I'm bored. It's not doing it because I'm a fanboy. Now, that being said, I have developed some great relationships with guys on our rosters, and I'm fanboys of them now. And it's hard to be objective when you get in that role, but it's a weird thing. Me and Dylan have a 50-50 partnership in Southern Honor, and it works. And people don't believe this, but I have nothing. And when I tell you I have nothing to do with what happens in that ring, I have nothing to do with what happens in that ring. I don't book guys. I don't lay out matches. I don't decide who's going over, who's not. I don't have anything to do with storylines unless I'm in a storyline and Dylan's telling me what to do. So our deal is I run front of house and Dylan runs back of the house, and it seems to work really, really well.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because he doesn't obstruct your end of the business and you don't obstruct his end of the business, and I think that I'm sure that probably serves well for the both of you.
It does. We both know our roles. I've been in business forever, and partnerships never work. And this one works. And it's because, now don't get me wrong, we talk about everything. But at the end of the day, Dylan makes a decision in his area, and I make the decisions in my area. And I don't always agree, and he doesn't always agree with how I go about it, especially when I'm stirring the pot. But we do what we do, and I think the results speak for themselves. And I think the fact that we've had some of the results that we've had has made it a lot easier to trust each other.
Right. Absolutely. So going back to something you said a few moments ago, you kind of remember and like your wrestlers to, look like somebody that could, walk in the bar and whoop somebody's ass. So the first ever Southern Honor champion was Kevin Ryan.
Right.
Tremendously talented guy, a guy that me and Xanders both know very well and have seen start in the business from his very early days up until today. And it's been quite a thing to watch how he's developed and become who he is today. But is that maybe one of the things maybe you questioned, or had you seen enough of him before?
No, I didn't question it. And here's why I didn't question it. Because we didn't put Kevin Ryan in the ring and act like he could go to toe with Logan Creed. The storyline showed Kevin Ryan just got his ass beat week after week after week, and somehow in the end pulled it out. That's believable. Right. And so we never gave the illusion that Kevin Ryan can go toe-to-toe with Sunny Days, Gunnar Miller, any of those guys. It was storytelling that the underdog, how much pain can this kid take? How much beating can this kid take? And holy shit, he just hit a move and won the match again. Man, when is his luck going to run out? And so that was believable. And that was great storytelling by Dylan. If we'd have had Kevin Ryan in there throwing punches with Logan Creed and them going toe-to-toe like it was a barroom brawl, who's believing that? It's not believable.
Right. And I think that's he capitalized on a story that hasn't been told in a long time. ECW told it well with Mikey Whipwreck. It was started out as just a guy who didn't get any offense in and worked his way up to being world champion and tag champions with Foley.
Right.
I've said for years, and a lot of people argue with me on this or don't like it, that Stone Cold Steve Austin ruined baby faces in wrestling, because after Stone Cold, most baby faces thought that they couldn't take anything or it would hurt their character or kill them off, that you had to just go in there and whip ass, don't sell shit, and be just the badass at all times.
Right.
And that's an element of, certain baby faces. Lord knows he was the biggest one. He ended up being the biggest one of all time.
Well, nobody
back in the day, guys like Kevin Ryan that fans got behind because they could relate to that, of getting your ass kicked all the time but not giving up.
That kid, man, we put that kid through hell for about 4 months. I mean, he got his ass beat to the point that I had to say something to Dylan. I was like, I don't think this kid can get beat up anymore, man. We're going to kill him. And, off ladders, through tables. I mean, it was unbelievable the beating that kid took. And but it endeared himself to our crowd, and they loved him. And And I mean, he still has a vital role in our promotion. And, it's moved into a different role, and he's handled that well. And I think it opened a lot of doors for Kevin. I still see places bill him as Kevin Ryan, the inaugural Southern Honor champion. And I think that's a pretty good honor for us and a good honor for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been something he can hang his hat on. And, a lot of times other promoters are kind of, iffy on people. And when they see somebody else put their faith in somebody and it pays off, then all of a sudden they're ready to, okay, well, he can do it. We've seen him do it over there in Southern Honor. So.
Yeah, and I think that we've done a good job of that. I think one of the knocks against us from other people has been, I've heard it labeled, we're a mercenary promotion. We run once a month. We bring guys in. Our goal is not to get them to whatever deemed the next level. We don't cooperate with other promotions. And I would say the opposite is true. We don't necessarily get along with other promotions, but when we bring guys in, we put so much hype behind them with me promoting our social media, our graphics, our videos, that they instantly become stars and instantly other people begin to sign them. And I mean, or not sign them, but begin to use them. And I mean, right. I think we saw that with Hold My Beer Hansen. I think we were the first, don't quote me on this, I think we were one of the first promotions to use him in North Georgia. And we played that up really well. And now he's on every show in North Georgia. And I'm not saying it's not because he didn't do anything, but it was also because, man, we put the stamp on him and we made him look like a star. And I put our production, I put it up against anybody except up north in AEW. I mean, I put our production up against Ring of Honor. I put it up against Impact. When guys leave our promotion or they come into our promotion, they look like stars. Ask Logan Creed what's the 3 matches he sent to MLW. They were Southern Honor matches because of the way they looked, the way they were edited. He looked like the monster that he is, and it worked out for him. So I do think we bring a lot to the table in that regard.
Yeah, the presentation. I mean, you got the guys that can back it up in the ring, but the presentation is what stands out right out of the gate. When you turn that, and for those that are watching right now, if you haven't seen a Southern Honor show, it's on IWTV. That's where I haven't been to Georgia recently, so that's where all this Southern Honor I've seen has been on IWTV. And so when you go through and you watch different shows on that app, and then you turn on Southern Honor, there's clearly a difference right out of the gate with the presentation, with just the technical side of it. Right out of the gate, you're like, whoa, this feels like a big deal. This feels like Monday night, almost. So
yeah, and we're I don't want to shit on other promotions in that regard. We're just blessed that we have a building. So we have a permanent building. So right. That's a huge factor in what we're able to do. Could we do that in a high school gym? We could. In my previous life, I pastored a very large church, a mega church that was portable. So I know how to set stuff up and tear it down. At 44 years old, do I want to? Hell no. So I'm glad we have a building, and I'm glad that it's got $125,000 worth of sound and lights and video and computers. And you add that with Dylan's mix that, I mean, he edits the AEW videos. You can't get any better than that. It's just a recipe for a great presentation.
Yeah, it really is. I suggest, so if anybody's watching right now that hasn't seen Southern Honor, like, is there a particular show that you're, proud of? Not to say you're not proud of all of them. They're all your babies. But, I mean, is there one that you'd say, like, hey, if you're going to watch one, Southern Honor show to get you kicked off, what would you recommend people go watch? Yeah, I mean, I'm always, as a promoter, I'm always going to be the most proud of our SHW 1000 show. I think we had right at 1,067 people at the show. It was the show that Omega and Jericho showed up unannounced. It was the show we announced Cody Rhodes. It was his last indie appearance. I'm proud of that show because obviously it was over 1,000 people, and that doesn't happen in Georgia. It hadn't happened in Georgia in years. I'm proud of that show because we were only 6 months old. So that was the May show of 2019. And I'm proud of that show because it was us cashing in some friendships. And, I've always heard it said, it doesn't matter who you know, it's who's willing to say they know you. And the fact that guys like Jericho and Cody and Omega were willing to come on our show and put their stamp on us, and that we were able to deliver. And it's the loudest show I've ever been to. So you need to understand we're in
our building is basically a professional venue, so it's made to absorb sound. So while it's loud, it's really probably 5 times louder than it sounds, because from the ceiling tiles to the walls, it's made to absorb sound. And yet that building was so loud that day, my shirt was shaking from the sound of people screaming when those lights came on and Kenny Omega standing in the ring. It's something that I'll never forget.
That's very cool, man. So over the time, that Southern Honor's progressed, and this isn't to put any one person over another or knock what anybody was in the beginning, but who stands out to you that has really, from the first time you saw them in a Southern Honor ring to the more recent events, really stands out as somebody who's really progressed and really stepped up their game and become a star for you in Southern Honor?
Yeah, without question, it's David Ali. So the first show, David Ali did a run-in, and I remember some guys backstage complaining about him, how green he was, how he was going to hurt somebody if he continued to do that. And, of course, I knew nothing about wrestling, so I'm like, I don't even know what the hell these guys are talking about. You know what I mean? But to watch him not even be able to cut a promo 2 years ago to he's exceptional now. Now he's on AEW Dark. He's probably one of the top 2, maybe 3, possibly 2 promos in our company behind Joe Black. He looks like a wrestler. He's got his body in shape. He's got a gimmick that works, man, and he works the gimmick. And to watch his development over the last 2 years is simply amazing.
Awesome. So one of the perks of doing this live show is we have people watching along and commenting as we go. So we've got 2 or 3 here. So let's take a look at what we got. We got Tyler Colperet has said, "What kind of father doesn't put his own son on his show? Answer me that, Gary."
Well, one that has a son that is just not quite ready yet, and so he's got to keep after it. And he'd regret it if I do him any favors and just put him on the show for no reason. And then he went and won a championship at another promotion. So we try to respect that. That is something we try to respect. And so, for us to put him in gimmicks or storylines that we would use him in would kind of minimize the championship that he has right now. We're not going to do that out of respect to Pro Sal.
Gotcha. Rob Brodiker says, "I'm just commenting so Gary will insult me."
Yeah. I hate his guts. No, actually, I love Rob Rod, and he's so good to us. And he's the highlight of coming to our shows and being able to make fun of him. And probably a lot of the attention that we have got in the Southeast and even locally is through Rob Rod writing our reports. Georgia Wrestling History, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. It's run by Larry. But just for whatever reason, due to scheduling things, probably 75% of our shows have been written by Rob Rod. And, man, we love him, and he's part of our family now.
And also we have a great friend of the show, the Wicked Nemesis, says, "Black versus Huck, match of the year for 2020.
Yeah, no doubt about it. To put on a match in January and people still be writing that comment in December shows you what a match it was. It was incredible. And if you were to ask me not what show to watch, but what's the one match you would watch or what's the one storyline you would watch, it would definitely be what Dylan wrote out with Joe Black and William Huckabee. And it went on for several months, ended brutally in a parking lot going through a car window. It was amazing, amazing storytelling.
Absolutely. And I think that's what helps y'all stand out is there's so many shows where they've got the talent, but they don't have the stories to put the talent over. And some places have really great stories, but they don't really have the talent to carry it out. And so you guys have got, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. I mean, I've said this to people before, you guys have got the talent, you've got the writing, and you've got the presentation. So there's not really anything you're missing other than just more opportunities to have, fans in there to see it. 2020 kind of slowed everything down for wrestling for everybody. Obviously, how has, you still been able to have some shows, but how did this year treat you guys, and what changes did you have to make to account for it?
It definitely changed what we were doing storyline wise. We were heading into, I think it was we did our March show, if I remember correctly. Our April show was going to set up our May show, which was actually going to be a 2-night tournament that we were calling SCI, the Southern Cup Invitational. And just because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So we were setting some big things in that and had a lot of guys coming in from across the country for that show. We had to scrap that. I think we ran again in maybe August. I can't remember if it was August or September. October. I think we ran again in September, a month before our 1-year anniversary show. And we've definitely taken a hit. I would say in general, promotions in Georgia, it seems like they're all down about 30% in attendance.
Yeah.
And we're definitely down 30% in attendance. We haven't implemented a lot of we haven't made mass mandatory, so anybody that's for that is not going to attend our show at this time. Southern Honor is a very eclectic crowd. So you have the kind of young AEW fan there, the millennial crowd, I guess you would call them,
right
there, and then we're close to the North Georgia Mountains, so you got the "It's Still Real to Me" crowd coming.
Right.
And so it's always been a real a beautiful mix at our shows. And right now, the millennial crowd, rightfully so, has definitely taken a stronger stance that they're impacting the world by not going out and wearing masks when they do go out, and anything that's not doing that, they're not attending. So right now, I've noticed our last couple of shows has definitely been that "It's Still Real to Me" crowd. And it's definitely our North Georgia crowd coming in, where I haven't seen as many AEW shirts or random indie darling shirts at our shows in the last couple of months. Because, again, there's just two different worldviews on how you're going about handling what's going on in our country. And neither one's right and neither one's wrong. In my opinion, neither one's right or neither one's wrong. Obviously, to them it is. So we've definitely lost probably that younger millennial crowd that is taking social distancing a lot more serious than the crowd that grew up in the North Georgia mountains drinking moonshine.
They gonna do what they gonna do, damn
They're
it!
gonna do
My
what
God.
they're gonna do. And we're gonna do what we're gonna do. So
there you go. So Wicked asked another question: breakout star of 2020 for Southern Honor.
So for 2020, I don't want to say a star, and this isn't sliding him at all, but I definitely think the biggest debut and the biggest impact has been Hold My Beer Hansen. And we brought him in right. And he has got a great mind for marketing and a great gimmick, and he knows how to work that. And it covers up a lot of his greenness in the ring. And I don't say he's green in the ring in a bad way. I say he's green in the ring because he's done it for 2 years.
Right.
And so, but he definitely has that it factor that has got him over in North Georgia. And it's almost insane how our crowd is towards him. So I would definitely say him. And I would also say Ashton Starr in a different way, because for 2 years, Ashton has been our top face. And now he's flipped and is one of our top heels. And so those two guys have definitely at the top of their game and getting the right crowd reaction.
Right. Sam Skaggs says, yo.
He's the big Hold My Beer Hansen fan. So,
and it's funny that comes up right after, you had just talked about how the North Georgia fans have kind of dominated the fandom right now because of the other fans not coming. And so obviously he's going to be a guy that they're going to be drawn to. So that's kind of a perfect time for him to break out.
And we played it right. I think one thing that we do really well that is probably overlooked in our success, I think you'd be really hard-pressed to find a promotion that does social media as well as we do, especially Facebook. Everybody wants to be on Twitter. Everybody wants to be on Instagram because that's where the pictures are. But the reality is, especially in North Georgia, the fans are on Facebook. And we do a really good job. So the angle that Dylan wrote between me and Hold My Beer Hansen, and people believed it. And I think there's a lot of belief in it because there's an element of truth to everything we do. He didn't fit what I thought a guy should look like in our promotion. It wasn't a gimmick that I thought fit in our promotion. And we played that up, and he's proven me wrong in that. and he's over like Rover. And we just did a poll the other day on who do you think is going to win the championship on our fan page. And if I remember correctly, last time I looked, he was in second place, and that blew my mind. But they're crazy about it.
I think Facebook and social media in general, but like you say, especially Facebook, is a lost opportunity for a lot of wrestlers and promoters. There's so many wrestlers that one minute they'll try to put an angle over on their Facebook, and the next minute them and that same guy are taking a picture with each other at Huddle House or whatever. But you have such an opportunity to get angles and storyline, and it doesn't mean it's insulting to the fans. I mean, the fans who know, and the ones who choose to, shut their mind off and take it for, face value, they know that as well. And I think there's just tons of opportunity on social media for promotions to get angles over, for wrestlers to get themselves over. Yeah. And it's wasted by, this morning, hey, come see me at the show Friday night. I'm going to be wrestling the main event for the title. And then an hour later, man, my job at Hardy's sucks, man. I got to work third shift, and this bullshit that, like, have a personal one or have your professional one, but don't mix the two because it kills your gimmick.
You're striking a nerve with me right now, and
that's what we do. We get you fired up, man.
One of my biggest pet peeves, and something we dealt with early on. And again, I don't think it's wrong. It's just a different time. But it was, everybody was buddies, and I get that they're buddies, but like, we're trying to run an angle, and I'm not trying to. Wrestling to me is suspending disbelief for a little while, and I couldn't stand that we put the title on somebody, and the guy he beats, they're backstage taking pictures together and posting them to their Instagram, and F that. Like, it was a huge deal. Me and Dylan have never fought, but we've had some heated words about that. And don't go out to eat at the Waffle House in Canton. Drive down to Kennesaw on your way home and go to the Waffle House and make that shit real. And it's worked for us. It's worked for us with me and Hold My Beer Hansen. It worked for us when I was going after Gunnar Miller, and nobody thought I had Gunnar Miller coming in. And I mean, even the people putting out videos, we worked them in that situation. But again, a lot of our stuff is steeped. The best storytelling has an element of truth. So everybody thinks me and Logan Creed are playing a story or are going out of storyline right now, and we're not. At this particular time, we have no intentions of Logan Creed coming back. Now, will Logan Creed be back? I'm sure one day Logan Creed will be back. But right now, I'm pissed at him, and he's pissed at me. And so there's an element to truth to everything. And does that mean we hate each other? It doesn't mean we hate each other. I talked to him recently about some personal things, some business things. And so I can separate the two. But, yeah, I'm irritated with his ass right now. And so, but people think it's a storyline. There's no storyline because it's not going anywhere. I'm just pissed off, and I post everything that I think of. So.
Yeah, that's what I had. A couple of people message me during the week and go, ask him what the deal is with him and Logan.
My deal with Logan is I think he's ungrateful for what we did for him. And Logan was wrestling shit shows before Southern Honor, but he's always looking for the next great thing or who's going to get him in front of these eyes and that eyes. And Logan has a different view on what wrestling success is. So he'd rather go wrestle in front of 35 people on a Mark show instead of 400 people on a great show. And that's just my thoughts on it. He knows how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people who didn't use him properly and use him to his potential. I think that's something you guys did very well. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but I've seen him on shows and I'm like, why the hell is he selling for this guy? Why is he doing what he's doing right now? So I think it's a fair statement. I mean,
you're a monster,
may not agree, but.
Yeah, you're a monster. You don't sell. So you go in there and dominate. That's what you are. One of my favorite matches, go back, I can't remember if it was SHW 2 or SHW 3. It was our second or third show, and watch the match between Kevin Ryan and Logan Creed. And Kevin Ryan won that match, but we didn't job Logan out in that match. He looked like a monster. Kevin won by fluke. I'll never forget Logan picking him upside down and literally just swinging him back and forth into the metal railings. And I've done a little better job 2 years in of deciphering when a guy's hurt and when he's not. But in the early days, man, I thought everybody was hurt.
He's killing him.
What are they doing, man? Like, it's my building and it's my company, and I'm thinking, man, is the insurance going to pay for this? But I've learned and adjusted a little bit.
So, speaking of Facebook, right before we went on the air, I shared a post you made about promoting.
Okay.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Tell everybody listening right now, whether they're a wrestler or they're a promoter or their business beyond wrestling, a little bit about your feelings on how to properly promote and how to go about it.
Again, I'm not the best promoter. And one of the probably the knocks on me is everything I do, whether it's a barbecue festival, which is my bread and butter, or a wrestling show, I promote the same way. I'm very high energy. I'm very us against the world. It's kind of a running joke. I did a market, a weekly kind of like farmers market here in our town during COVID, and someone told me our city has one on Saturday morning, and mine was on Tuesday night. And they said, "You're the only guy I know that can turn a farmer's market into a competition and a rivalry. Why are you talking smack? It's a farmer's market." And so I just believe I build everything I do around community. So they're not really events. I want to create community. And I think people thrive and they're craving community, and they're craving about people want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And most people are miserable in their jobs. They go to a job they hate, but they've got to pay the bills. And so they're living a life that they never expected to live. And anything I can do to get them to escape reality for a while is the way I go about doing things. And so I love events because it's an escape from reality for a little bit. For 3 hours at a wrestling show, you're not thinking about the electric bill being due. At one of my concerts or one of my festivals, you're not, for a little while, you get to escape reality. And so that's how I go about promoting. And I believe in it. I'm smoking what I'm selling. And I push it everywhere I go. And people know, man, I tell people all the time, I'm not the best event organizer in the world. I mean, my events are actually controlled chaos, but I'm good at two things. I'm good at drawing a crowd, and I'm good at promoting. And so it's just seemed to work really well for me, and it's paid my bills and provided a nice living for me and my family.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, there's so many people who call themselves promoters who need to focus on the promotion end of it more than just the who's wrestling each other and who's going over and who's the, what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I joke. I said, it doesn't matter. You could have Hulk Hogan on your show, but if no one knows he's going to be there, what does it matter? And so, obviously, I'm the promoter. So I think promoting is the most important thing. You can have the, I think the promoter gets them to the show, and then the booking gets them back to the show. So, and that seems to work out really well. So it's my job to get them to a show, and I always tell Dylan it's his job to keep them at a show.
Absolutely. So, Wicked Nemesis asks, who is someone that has popped up on Gary's radar that he hasn't used yet, or maybe for a one-off appearance?
I'm a big, talking about Tyler earlier, I'm Culprit fan. I liked him before when he was Tyler Rivera. I love the new gimmick. I think it's not quite there. I think it's real close to being there. And for us, it's just a matter of it's a weird thing for us. So we like the gimmick so much that at this particular time, we couldn't do it justice. And that sounds really like a cop-out, but we like it too much to bring him in and make him a jobber right now. And so when the time is right to bring him in and do something right, I see that happening. We were big Trevor Aon guys, and we're using him a little bit more now. We used him last show. Dylan actually drafted him in the tournament this time, and so he's in the tournament. So super impressed with him. But again, this goes back to I don't really watch wrestling, so I can't tell you. If they're not on our shows, I don't know them. And so Dylan sends me guys. We had a guy a few months ago, like this is not a gimmick. I don't know the guys' names. We brought a guy in, big redneck guy with a mullet. Mason Dixon, the tag team. I don't remember what the guy's name. Stylist Mason. And dude, he was off the charts great. And I love that gimmick. And COVID hit. I think we had more plans for him, and COVID hit, and we shut our shows down, and we just haven't got back around to bringing him back in. But that's definitely a question you should ask Dylan if you ever get him on the show, because Dylan keeps up with everybody.
Yeah, we would love to get Dylan on the show sooner or later too.
Yeah, people think I'm joking when I say I don't keep up with it. I don't. I know the guys on our shows. I loved Barry Morales because I'd seen him with the shit show that I used to go to with my son, and I thought he was super impressive. So I'm glad he's on our show. We just brought Cyrus in, and I mean, literally, he hit our ropes and the rope snapped. I couldn't keep up with that. So I like the guys on our roster, and I don't know anybody else.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's the thing, usually if you go to the quote unquote shit shows, I mean, a lot of times you can pick a few diamonds out of the very rough and make use of them, and
there's always
it hurts to see guys doing that kind of stuff.
And I get they got to pay their dues. I mean, going to that shit show, we got Logan Chase out of that, who I think is phenomenal in a manager role. I actually saw Logan Creed on that shit show. I saw the Lynch Mob on that show. I saw Cyrus on that show. I saw Morales on that show. So, out of 3 or 4 or 5 shows I went to theirs, I saw 5 guys that are now part of Southern Honor, and we're glad to have them.
So, Brendan Ashmore says, "Hey, Gary, I want to pick your brain on what do you think about wrestling managers?"
Yeah, so I actually love wrestling managers, and so I think it's a dying art. And it's one of the things from what I've seen of AEW, it seems like they're bringing that back. I don't know if they're calling them managers. It seems like everybody has a different title.
Right.
I like seeing what Arn's doing and Tully's doing. I like seeing what Jake's doing. I love managers, and I'm a huge, insane, to the point of driving Dylan crazy. I'm a faction guy. So I would have everybody in a faction. That's why I couldn't be a booker. And I love factions. I grew up, I was a Four Horsemen fan. So that was my crew. And so I think the problem that I see on the indie card is wrestling's for everybody. And so we take a guy who doesn't deserve to be a wrestler, isn't good enough to be a wrestler, and we're like, hey, he wants to do it. Let's go make him a manager. And so they bring nothing to the table. They don't look good. They don't bring anything. So I think when you have a good manager, I think Logan Chase is an outstanding manager. In Georgia, again, I don't know how connected you guys are to Georgia. I don't even know where you guys are out of, but we have Matt Hankins, who a lot of people talk really good about. And we think highly of. I think highly of him as a person. Me and him have a relationship outside of Southern Honor. He's another one I wouldn't mind getting into a regular part of Southern Honor. And then, of course, the legend in Georgia is Jeff Bailey. And when the Manager of the Year award in Georgia is named after him, and he's at every one of our shows backstage, helping the guys, chewing them out, cussing them out, ranting and raving about how bad they suck. And he's a huge asset to us. So I'm a big fan. I've been trying to get Jeff out of retirement for one last run. But when I tell you he says he's done with wrestling, he's done with wrestling in that role, or in front of the camera anyway. But, I love managers.
And that's rare. Rarely has anybody ever done with wrestling. So kudos to Jeff if he's made that decision and sticking by it.
I'll get him back.
Well, if anybody can, you can. But yeah, it's a shame that managers aren't a bigger thing in wrestling today. Because I mean, when I was growing up, I mean,
they were huge.
I mean, whether you looked at the NWA or WWF, almost every heel in WWF had a manager, and almost every heel in the NWA did.
I remember growing up with the 44, and so I remember the Road Warriors of Paul Ellering, and I mean, like, to me, he was as much a part of the Road Warriors as the Road Warriors.
Absolutely.
And he was huge. You don't think about the Midnight Express without thinking about Jim Cornette. I mean, there is no Midnight Express without Jim Cornette. And so I was an NWA, WCW guy. So, I mean, yeah, I love those guys. Undertaker, with Paul Bearer, even I remember Brother Love, So I think that, and I think a manager can add a lot to a guy. I think Logan Chase has actually added a different element to Kevin Ryan and Jordan Kingsley for us. And so having someone who can talk, we've got a couple of guys we've got one guy on our roster, and I don't want to throw him under the bus. I think he's as talented, got the look. He's as skilled as anybody in the world. And to me, I think the only reason he hasn't been signed is he can't cut a promo. And so, I've been pushing. He's one of the guys I've pushed at Bailey. And I've been like, dude, if you came back and we turned him heel and you came out as his manager, there'd be no stopping. Well, I mean, it's Joey Lynch. I said, there'd be no stopping Joey Lynch if you had Jeff Bailey with him and Joey Lynch was a heel. But again, I'm not a booker. So Dylan always gives me 20 reasons why he would shoot those ideas down and they don't work. And it's hard to argue because they always make sense.
Right.
I look at everything from a marketing standpoint. Dylan looks at it as, what am I going to do over the next 9 months of storylines? And that's an interesting perspective that I don't bring to the table.
Right. So Matthew Gibson asks, what do you look for in a good referee for Southern Honor?
I didn't look for anything in the refs forever because we had 2 refs that we used all the time.
Right.
And I just assumed they were good because Dylan said they were good. Then I had to ref a match one time, and that is the most stressful shit I've ever done in my life. knowing how to be out of the way. I forgot to tell them to ring the bell, jumping down to count. I had a whole new perspective on refs after I did it for a half match. And it was only half match because then I got knocked out. I'm never so glad to get knocked out in my life because, man, I was stressed out about reffing. And so I think I look for a guy who is going to look good in the ring. I think that's another thing, just like managers. So many people just throw the ref. The shit show I used to go to across town, had a 300-pound ref. And he could barely get in the ring. And it was just unbelievable to me. So I want a guy who looks like he's taking the match serious. I think the ref is a huge factor in the realism of a match. I want a ref who knows what he's doing but is not making it about him. And I want a ref that can control the match. Backstage, our guys are communicating with the refs about times and wrap-ups and let's go and do your job and not be afraid to do what we're telling you to do, even though the boys are saying we want to keep going. And so I think refs in wrestling are probably very undervalued. We actually had Matthew come to our show, I think it was last month, and just came because Ace and Tyler were wrestling. And he ended up reffing for us. And he ended up reffing our main event. And he did a phenomenal job. It was great.
Yeah, I think they're very underappreciated. And I think until you've kind of like a situation like you described, you don't realize how much goes into that job.
No,
especially
dude.
the ones that you don't notice.
Yeah.
Because it's the bad refs that you really are aware that they're there. A really good ref, you don't really notice they're there.
A great ref is you don't notice he's there. So listen, I've been put through a table. I've been beat up in brawls and everything in 2 years, and none of it made me as nervous as having to go ref. I was stressed the hell out backstage, knowing I had to go out there and do that, and I almost felt like it was an insult to the guys that got trained. That's something that I'm really big. Everybody keeps asking, when am I going to get in the ring? And it's never going to happen. I'm not wrestling a match because what an insult to everybody that puts in the time to train, and it's a lose-lose. So the guy beats me up. He beat up the 44-year-old fat general manager. And then if I win the match some weird way, then how does that work? I see no benefit to it. And it's one of the things that we've said, we never say never, but, man, it would have to so be the right circumstances for that to ever happen. And I don't see it happening.
Right. It's kudos to you for seeing it that way because, I don't know, it seems like almost – 90% of promoters, once they have a little bit of success, is like, all right, that's what everybody, they want to see me in there. That's what the fans want to see.
Nobody wants to see me. I do what I do. I'm the hype man. We're a weird show because it's in a town that I've been running events in for 15 years. So, I do get the biggest pop of the night. I don't mean that arrogantly. Like when my music hits, the crowd goes crazy. I have done those people's weddings. I have done their funerals. I have fed them. I have provided Christmas for them. The joke in town is, they call me the Godfather here in town. I've had to answer that question in court here in town. Why are you called the Godfather? And people know me in this town. So when I come out, give my little sermonette, everything, and I'm good to go. If Dylan writes me in a storyline, awesome. But I haven't been in a storyline on our shows in probably over a year. That's something substantial centered around me. Early on, we kind of had to.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to move some angles forward in that regard because, again, I was the most known person in the because it's in Canton. Now, that wouldn't apply in any other town, but in Canton it applies. And so it is what it is.
Right. But there's a long way between people, you getting a pop for coming out doing what you do and you coming out and winning the heavyweight title, Yeah. So you know where you fit in,
Well, it's a weird thing, too. So I'll tell you something that surprised me about wrestling. And I don't mean this in a mean way. I was surprised how small everybody is. And so you see them on the posters, and I'm 6'1", and I'm 245. And it's a weird thing, when you have certain guys that's your champion, and he's bowed up to you, and he comes up to the middle of your chest, and in real life you'd stomp a mud hole in his ass. And, it's kind of a weird thing. I remember it was the big thing with Dallas. Hey, DDP, they said, hey, you can't be a manager. You're bigger than everybody in the ring. And, I mean, with the exception of guys like Logan and stuff, I'm the biggest dude in the ring. And so, it's hard to work those into angles. I kind of have to step back and make sure that I'm not overshadowing those guys on my size.
Yeah, I've dealt with that a lot over the years, so I can appreciate what you're saying there for sure. So let's talk about it. This Friday night, we mentioned at the top of the show, you got the Southern Honor Heavyweight Title Tournament. Kind of tell us how we got here, give us a little backstory on how the title ended up vacant.
Title ended up vacant because we had built up for a year to Joe Black winning the title. Joe would have won the title back in May at our SCI. And no, I don't think that's right. I think Joe would have won SCI. That would have made him number one contender. He would have won it at our 1 year anniversary. So I would have stayed on target. I can't remember. The plan was always for Joe to be the champion. Right. And in the process of winning our championship, Joe got hurt, and to the point where he can't wrestle right now. Joe wouldn't tell us he was hurt, but we knew he was hurt. Right. And us, along with some other people, encouraged him, take some time off. You'll always have a slot here. And so literally in the last 3 weeks, we've changed our entire direction of our company. I mean, we were storylined out through probably the summer in every area, into the championship, tag team division, where we were going with other feuds and who was going to elevate up and who was coming back and what role they were going in with Joe. And we had decided that we needed to have a champion that held the title for a while, and that was going to be Joe. And we had decided we needed a champion that was going to take the belt to other promotions, and that was going to be Joe. And the injuries happened, and so we went back to where we started. Our very first show ever was a one-night tournament, 5 first-round matches, and this one's 6, and ending in a scramble at the end. So to add an element of fun in this one, we legit made picks. Dylan made picks, and I made picks. And then Dylan had to book it at the end. And so it was fun. And I think we ended up with some interesting people. And I think we ended up with some people that people were shocked they weren't on the show. And I think that has a lot to do. You can read between the lines. I think the fans see people and think they're so great. I think you'll see that maybe we don't like dealing with this guy backstage, or we don't like this guy's a pain in the ass, so we didn't pick him. Right. There were some picks that surprised me that Dylan didn't pick. And I'm sure there were some picks that people thought, how are you doing a tournament without this guy? The picks were what they were.
I thought that was a very interesting way to do it, with you guys, one picking in the morning, one picking in the evening, and kind of got people invested in it each day to see who's going to pick who, and, start guessing on how they were going to pair up in the first round bracket.
And it worked out really well, and I enjoyed it. And me and Dylan have such a different view on wrestling. And so it was the first time ever in our history that I've had, like I said, it's the first time ever that I've had any say, and I don't have any say on how the show goes, but I have a say of the 6 guys that I got to pick, which I'm sure Dylan will make them all lose in the first round. But, I went with guys that I think were Stephen Platinum put out a video. I don't know if you saw it, and he talked about the picks and broke them down. And I did. It's funny. I didn't realize it at the time, but Dylan picked guys that he was loyal to. He picked guys that are great in-ring guys. Not that the guys that I picked aren't great in-ring guys, but I definitely picked guys that I'm like, I can market my promotion around that guy. Man, that guy's going to look good on a poster. Man, that guy looks like what you would want a champion to look like. And so it worked out really. It was interesting. It was an odd, different mix of picks.
It was, and it's going to be a fun tournament, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. I don't know that anybody can just sit and go, yeah, that's the guy that's winning, because there's so many elements to it, and that makes it great, Yeah,
I told Dylan I didn't want to know, and I also know Dylan. He's changed it 500 times, and he'll be changing it 500 times this week. So I legit have no clue, and so that keeps it a little bit fun for me. And it's important that I don't know, because, man, I'll end up telling my 9-year-old to go. And so that creates issues. So I legit don't know. If it was up to me, which is funny because Dylan paired them together in the first round, I would probably have it on Gunner. or I'd have it on Joey Lynch. I like the idea of Joey Lynch having the championship while also being our tag team champion and focusing more on the heavyweight or the singles title than the tag team champions. Matt getting mad about that. I saw lots of possibilities with that.
Right.
I pitched that to Dylan, and so the chances are that will never happen because I pitched it, and it probably wouldn't work out. But I mean, that's how my mind thinks, you know. And so I was happy with my picks. And as long as one of my picks wins, I'm happy. And if one of Dylan's pick, I'm done.
Hey, so Gunnar Miller's like, I watched him at another SCI, that's very good SCI tournament.
Yeah, the fake
Gunnar
SCI.
Miller, well, but Gunnar Miller's like if he was a number one pick, he's it. Like if there was ever a number one pick, like that dude is LeBron James if I've ever seen it. That dude looks the part. He has like him and Jeff Bailey did really good stuff there for a little while before he got injured. That dude's an absolute monster, and if he can get back to where he was, he's money for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I think me and Gunnar. So Gunnar's probably my best friend in wrestling. We talk pretty regular, a lot about business. I don't know that Gunnar wants to get back to where he was. Gunnar's very successful in his shoot job. He's very successful in the business world. He's now focused on building his family. I think wrestling is just a fun outlet for him, and hence why he wrestles at Southern Honor and doesn't wrestle anywhere else. If he's going to do it once a month, he's going to do it with us, have the videos behind him, have the lights behind him, have the easy hour and a half drive down to us. And, so I don't know. I mean, he set the world on fire when he made the comments about Marco. And so I think that probably burned a lot of bridges for him. That's actually how me and him got connected, because I wrote him and said, I agree. And so, and again, it's not that I have anything against Marco Stunt. I think there's a way to book him and a way not to book him. And to book him toe-to-toe ain't going to work.
Well, they book him a lot better now. They do a lot better with him.
Yeah, and again, I've never watched it. So what I've seen, I love that he's been successful. And I've talked to some of my connections there, and they say he's a great guy.
He's unbelievably nice kid.
Yeah, and they've got it working out great. So that's awesome.
Yep. And that's
so, folks,
I loved Gunnar because Gunnar was like really. I'm sorry, but Gunnar.
No,
was,
you're fine.
Kind of super hot. I don't know if I'm hoping I'm not lagging through this. I've had lag issues all day. I apologize. But Gunnar, like that injury, you could tell that kind of made him take a step back and see who he was as a person. And like you kind of saw that, and that allows you to step up and be who you want to be as a man whenever you have that. But I thought it was great for him, that injury, because it allowed him to be who he was.
Yeah, I think it allowed him to discover himself, to realize. And I tell you, in some ways it wasn't an injury, but in some ways COVID was the same way for me. It made me realize, man, I like wrestling. I enjoy Southern Honor. But at the end of the day, and I don't mean this in a mean way, if we never ran another show again, my life still goes on. And I'm not one of these guys that I don't love it. And we've got guys that love it, and I love that they love it. And they're consumed with it, and they want to go to the next level. I think for a guy like me, and I can't speak for Gunnar, but I think for Gunnar, it's as much of this is a fun hobby for me. It's something I enjoy. I joke all the time, some guys golf and some guys deer hunt, and I own a wrestling promotion. And my wife will tell you, starting a wrestling promotion is one of the best things I ever did. It's my outlet. And so creating drama, and it's part of the game, and getting to go there and talk and get the crowd fired up. It's an outlet for me. And to the point that we had some pretty big discussions about some other doors opening for us. And that would have required us to run more. And we weren't interested because it's not going to be my career. And I'm not looking to move up to the next level. I'm not hoping AEW assigns me to be their general manager,
Right.
So it's my fun hobby, and and it's something I get to do with my kid, and so that's huge to me.
I mean, I think that's a good attitude to have. I think that's a lot of people's undoing in wrestling is, one, they obsess about it way too much. And then some people find a happy place like you found right now, where you're running the amount of shows you want to run, you're enjoying it. And there's people who try to get too big, and they run themselves out of business trying to be more than what they are, more than what they have the potential to be.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good space to be in.
I think everyone's in a different position. So for me, I don't need wrestling, and I don't mean that arrogantly. I don't mean that cocky. But again, it's not how I provide for my family. You know, the money we make at wrestling is, I mean, Dylan and I haven't taken any money from it at all. It goes right back into the company. It's our fun hobby. And so a lot of these guys do this for a living. And man, that's awesome. I think it's a commendable living to do, but it puts a different kind of pressure on you.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I pastor a church now where I don't take a salary, and it's fantastic. I pastored a church before I took a salary. That was a different kind of pressure. I had to worry about the offering every week, and if people were going to show up, and now I don't give two shits, you know. I do what, you know, because I'm not fueled by that. I do it because I love it. And so wrestling's the same way for me. I don't love wrestling, but I love Southern Honor. And I think people miss out on that. They hear Gary's not a wrestling guy. I'm not, but I'm a Southern Honor guy. And I've proven it to our guys. I've proven it to our fans. And I think Friday night's going to be awesome. And you guys ought to get your ass in the car and drive down for the show.
I'd like to, but there's a lot going on right now. But I have committed that I want to come to the Southern Honor show. Huh?
What are you going to do? Sit around Friday night and watch Elf?
I live in Alabama, and I'm in the process of moving, so I'm doing a lot of packing and preparing to move.
I'm moving this Wednesday. I close on my house Wednesday, so that's no excuse.
Are you moving to Alabama?
Well, no, but you should look for every reason to get out of Alabama every chance you can.
I'm inching my way. I'm moving further away as I move along. But
you have such a low standard for wrestling there in Alabama. What is it?
I started out in Mississippi,
Whoa,
and then I moved to Alabama. So I'm working my way away from the shit show.
So your standard is New South?
No,
mine? Oh, yeah. Charles.
No, it's not. I don't have a
We know you're a huge New South fan, Charles. You don't have a hoodie, but.
Yeah. I don't have a hoodie. Like my old tag team partner, I don't have a hoodie.
Yeah. I don't even know the guys at New South, but man, they're so easy to get mad. So I just love doing
it. Trust me, I know.
Dude, they get so fired up. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So
I gotta mute myself again. Yeah, no, y'all are right there. I need Gary. I'm gonna come one day. I promise. You got to talk to other people. But yes, I will be down there soon, if not this weekend.
Anytime. We'd love to have both of you.
Gene's
awesome.
Lazy.
I'm not lazy. Just because I'm fat doesn't mean I'm lazy, asshole. Or see, Scott Morgan says road trip with Charles and Gene. So the whole Unbookables crew will load up.
I think Stephen Platinum's even coming up this week for the show.
Wow. Well, I wish we were going to make it then.
So wait a minute. So you come to see Platinum, but you don't get that on? Is that what I just heard?
No, I don't know who Stephen Platinum is. I was just being nice.
So,
all right, Xanders, what would you like to ask Mr. Lamb before we take this one home, as they say in wrestling speak?
I don't have any great questions. You've done unbelievable.
God
this is
damn
exactly
it! I mean.
You know,
wow! I've been asking questions the whole show. We built up to your big moment, your high spot.
And then it lagged out, so I thought he was fixing to ask.
He thought he was building drama, but it was just
not at all.
Shitty internet.
Absolutely not. I have no drama to build. Man, for real, I appreciate it because it's been tough to I've dealt with some really, really bad promoters. And it's tough to have that. It's tough to have a promoter that believes in its own product and isn't just in for personal gain. So it's not a question. It's more of an appreciation. I hope every time someone says that they're going to your show, I'm like, hopefully you'll pay attention. Hopefully you'll watch what success is, because it's clearly with y'all. Y'all are doing a great job. We'll be down there. I'm going to be down there sooner rather than later. But yeah, no, I have no questions. This has been a great interview and right on time, by the way. So good job, me.
It is right on time. Awesome.
I mean, luckily I was here to carry it because you were just sitting there lagging the whole time.
That's the first thing a Tennessee fans ever carried their life.
He asked me before so peek behind the curtain. Xanders asked me before we went live. He's like, "Are you really a Tennessee fan, or are you just being an asshole?" And I said, As my uncle lives in Tennessee and gave me this hat for Christmas like 7 years ago, and I found it in a closet about a month ago, and I'm like, I'll wear it on the show to cover that up.
I'm sure they love you in Alabama wearing that.
Screw Alabama. Yeah, I refuse to be one of the Roll Tide fucking Alabama people. So I'll wear the Tennessee hat and get the heat.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, like Mr. Mustache. And Steve Pleasing asked, maybe Xander's mustache has a question for Gary. I doubt it. There we go. So what I was going to say a while ago was
13-year-old kid, like my son's 16 trying to grow a mustache. They kind of has that.
Put you over, Gary. What are you doing? We're friends now.
But listen, part of putting speaking truth into their life, man, that thing's weak.
No, stop. I put you over, great promoter, and then I'm muting again.
He's saying Dylan wouldn't have booked that mustache, okay?
Dylan's not booking this mustache.
I'm saying shave it all, let it grow back, shave it about 3 times, and then it will come back thick.
It's blonde naturally. Wait till I have it black. I'm gonna dye it black like the old Hogan style.
He's already had 2 different girls make him shave it off already, and this is what's coming back.
Whoa!
Oh, kayfabe. I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on, man.
Sorry.
Going back
we're
to
live.
Mute. I'm going back to mute.
I forgot we were live. Damn it. All right. No, Gary, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, man. And I'm a big fan of Southern Honor, and I will definitely, even though I can't be there live, I will definitely be checking the show out when it hits IWTV. And we'll all be waiting to see who comes out wearing the gold when it's all said and done.
Hey, man, thank you guys for having me, and we'll see you real soon.
All right. Take care, man, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye. All right. Well, there he is, Gary Lamb of Southern Honor Wrestling. Well, I'd say that's one of the best interviews we've had so far, right?
It's because I wasn't lagging through all of it, but yes. Yeah, good job, us. Good job.
Yes.
Gary.
You book them, and I ask the questions, and somehow it works.
Good job, Smokey. Mainly Smokey.
Well, yes, our producer Smokey makes things happen. What I was going to say the one time, but I interrupted the one time you had something to say. We've been running, for those watching the live feed here, we've been running the Southern Honor links across the bottom. Of course, they're on IWTV. They're on Facebook.com/Southern Honor Wrestling. And you can also follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/SHonor Wrestling. So that's all the ways that you can see Southern Honor Wrestling on social media. And so we're also going to run across the bottom of your screen. Speaking of putting over Mr. Xanders, here's our upcoming schedule. 13th, Bubba Cagle. The 20th, Larry Goodman. 27th, Brian Trammell, Richard Mullican, and Josh Briley of P3 Radio. January 2nd of 2021, Brutal Bob Evans. On the 10th of January, Cabana Man Dan. On the 17th of January, a man that we've put over on this show quite a bit. We'll put him over in person, Mr. Tyler Colpret, the Pro South champion, will be here live on the show. And Mr. Xanders is hard at work right now, continuing to book up February. So if you're a wrestler or a promoter, or you have some involvement in wrestling and you're an interesting person, contact Xanders. Slide in them DMs, as they say.
Yeah, just hit me up, dog.
And slip him a few bucks, and you might make the calendar.
I'll put a Cash App thing out there for all of us to share. And I have one, but you will never know what it is because it's my shoot name. And Dunsmuir is not going to be just pronounced to everyone out on the show.
Cody, Cody. I call it Smokey. I'm trying to say Smokey. I swear to God, that was an accident.
Miss out of it.
that was a legit accident.
But Big Rich, yes. You can contact me at Big Wrench Gmail.
And so also, not only do we have this audio version where you can see things like my Tennessee hat and Charles's sweet mustache, but we also have the audio version. If you want to listen to us on the way to work, if you want to listen to us while you're lying in bed and can't sleep, or whatever you do when you listen to podcasts, you can check that out at anchor.fm/CheapHeatTV-live. Now, I don't expect you to remember that because that's a hell of a link. But what you can do, we share that link every week. Once that goes up on Monday nights at 7 p.m., I'll share it. Charles will share it. The page, which is run by Smokey, he shares it. So you can find that, and you can check out the auto version. So right now available already, the one with Gary that you just saw, or maybe you caught the end of and you're like, hey, I would like to have heard the rest of that. Well, you can watch the replay here, or you can listen in your car as you're driving somewhere,
or
both. Check out the video and the audio. Who knows? You may catch something in the audio you missed in the video because you were too distracted by that fine piece of artwork back there on the mantle at Casa de Zanders.
Casa de Colby.
The mansion up on the hill where he lives, where he bought and paid for by all that sweet ROH money.
Larry Goodman didn't even know I did that. I got to ask him about that because Larry Goodman put me as question marks. God bless Smokey. Yeah, truly agree with that.
Steve Pleasing, Smokey does appreciate the acknowledgement. He really does. Rob says, good job. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Steve Pleasing says, great show, guys. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are listening. So what we talked about this in a private message earlier, but we haven't actually talked about it in person. So we're going to kind of bat it around here on the show in front of everybody. So you guys can chime in either in the comments, or you can send us a message or comment on the page. I think we're going to do a Christmas show either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Rose Jackson has already committed to coming on and allowing Charles to ask her questions about our travels and adventures and wrestling and conventions and all sorts of fun stuff. And she has some great stories to share about old Smokey, the producer. So we are debating on when we're going to have the Charles Anders CheapHeatTV Christmas Extravaganza podcast. So if you have a preference, see, Wicked Nemesis is down. So we may be joined by the Wicked Nemesis as well once we pin down a day and time. So do you folks? It's kind of like the age-old question: Do you guys open your presents on Christmas Eve, or do you open them on Christmas Day? Well, do you want to have the podcast on Christmas Eve, or do you want to have it on Christmas Day? Me and Rosie are probably going to go see some Christmas lights on Christmas Eve. Watch some movies.
I've got a holiday party, so it's not going to be Christmas Eve. Sorry.
All right, Christmas Day, it's settled. we will bend to the whim of Mr. Zanders.
Now I want
to star of the show. It's bearing his name, so it should be based on when he wants to do it.
Okay. So real quick question: Is this going to be a thing where I just get roasted the entire time? Because if Wicked's coming on there, and I have a real strong feeling Rosie's going to be kind of gimmicked up into this thing where I get roasted through Rosie's thing.
No, so here's how I see this going, and this is only because you just mentioned it. But if I'm being honest, I suspect that I'll somehow end up getting roasted by you and Rosie, and then hopefully Wicked Nemesis will help me balance things out by then roasting you to even out the show. So then we both get equal.
Well, and if you want to come
roastage.
on and roast either me or Gene, because that'll be the Xanders. That's how I'd prefer to spend my holidays, anyways. Is just
Scott Morgan just posted random screw him. I don't know if that's screw me, screw you, screw Wicked, Smokey.
Gary Lamb.
Gary don't
Gary
know.
Lamb did a great job tonight, Scott. Don't get us more unbooked.
Jesus. Yeah, really. I mean, I was trying my best to get you guys booked over there. I slipped in the manager thing so that either maybe me or Wicked, one of the two of us, could slip in as your manager.
Sorry, Wicked. Gene's going to be with that Tennessee hat on.
Oh, wait a minute. Scott Morgan says you roast yourself with that mustache. Your theoretical mustache.
He sees it. It's there.
It's a working mustache. It's like when guys would work the fake foreign object, they'd reach in their tights and they're you thought the fans thinks there's something there, but it's not. That's how Charles is.
I'm about to just have to let the boys out.
Maybe someday we'll tell the story of what
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
gotta let the boys out means.
Yeah, we'll try to do more like holiday specials where it's just kind of us going off because we're 9 minutes past the thing with Gary, and we're just kind of going off the cuff here. But hopefully we're gonna get into rhythm where we can start having this extra time because an hour and 15 minutes isn't that bad because you could catch some of it and then see, oh, I want to go back because I know.
So we'll do 45, 50 minutes with the guest, and then we'll do 15, 20 minutes of us riffing at the end. Or maybe we'll actually have things planned. It won't be us riffing like this. We'll actually have something of substance to give you at the
Got a
end.
lot going on.
But I thought Gary was good. He was very interesting and gave us some great insight into Southern Honor Wrestling. So
Unbelievably smart guy. I was really like that was a big get for me because I was like that dude because you kind of I introduced him a little bit to you and we spoke a little bit about him and a little bit of him, but like that dude is just he gets it, man. He understands. Neither one of us tried to get me. Neither one of you. Wicked. Yeah. Sorry, man.
we were private messaging him, Wicked, the whole time. Like,
it was. If you look at the private chat, it's like next topic of discussion was going to be him, and he just he had to go. There was traffic. Gary is the man. Matt Lynch is a very talented wrestler. Both of the Lynch, they talked about the Lynch brothers, and those guys can absolutely go. I've got to wrestle Joey. I haven't got to wrestle Matt, but both of those guys are just ooze talent and ooze charisma. They're deckum good. So
thanks for checking out the show, Matt. We hope we can have you on at some point as well.
Absolutely.
Wicked says didn't even put me over. Hey, I mentioned that you were a great friend of the show. And, if that don't put you over, I don't know what the hell does.
I was having lag issues, man. I couldn't fight.
Yeah, during them times where you just saw Charles's face frozen on screen, he was actually talking about, man, if you don't book nobody else, book Wicked Nemesis, and it all got lost
per usual. You can blame my high man up here.
So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll have Rosie and we'll have Wicked on. We may have another surprise guest or two, and it's not gonna be a hardcore interview. We're just gonna have some fun. Maybe we'll find some fun Christmas topics to discuss or Christmas related wrestling topics somehow. We can tie those two things together.
Yeah. We got some really good episodes before then, though. Too. I'm excited about this Bubba Cagle thing. Bubba's got
this Bubba Cagle thing.
Oh, I don't know what to call it. A Facebook Live podcast. That's been my biggest thing with promoting this. Is like it's a Facebook Live podcast, and like it's
called a live video podcast. Yeah. You just leave the Facebook part out there. Well, no, because they got to have Facebook to get on here. Fuck, I don't know.
Easy.
So. I'm sorry. I'm not putting
Bleep.
Hey, if Gary can say he don't give a shit if his church draws, then I was going to ask him, and then I got sidetracked because you actually asked the question. But I was going to ask him which one's a bigger work, professional wrestling or the religious game.
No, that's not true. Neither one of them are.
I seriously almost asked him that because I would have loved to heard his response. Multimedia vidcast. Well, there you go.
Perfect.
Wicked is created. There you go. That's how you can present it to people.
I can't spell that. You both know I can't.
Just copy and paste it from the comments. Save it on your computer.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then you can copy and paste it to people.
I think the boys need to be let out.
Are the boys ready to be let out? Is that what's happening right now?
This is what the boys need to be let out soon.
All right. So next Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be joined by Mr. 1985, the mayor of Parrish, Alabama, Bubba Cagle. I have a hard time saying his name for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Bubbly Cagle.
I guess it's because I live in Coleman. But yes, so we got him coming up. We got Larry Goodman coming up on the 20th. We're going to have a Southern Wrestling year in review, I guess Georgia more specifically, but he does cover Pro South and some of the Alabama shows. So
he knows.
That'll be fun to talk to Larry about the good and the bad and the ugly of what's happened in wrestling this year. So got some good shows coming up. Like I said, kudos to Xanders. He doesn't just sit there lagging through the whole show. During the week, he books pretty good guests. So
I have a mustache.
And he allegedly has a mustache. I think I see a trace of it there.
That thing's full.
And on that note, folks, we end another episode of Cheap Heat TV Live. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For all the folks that are sharing it, bless you. Please continue to share it on Facebook, retweet it on Twitter, get the word out there because the numbers are going up each and every week. I have high hopes for this episode as well. So anyway, keep spreading the word, keep listening. Thank you all, and we will see you next Sunday night for Bubba Kegel. I said it right. Yay me.
Are we off the air? Are we?